kind of a stretch, but like,
I'm moving on from following that Anders thing. Not because I go,
mhm.
whoa, look at this weirdo building. It's got like a spike on the top of it. It's like a look at this. Not because I don't want to track Anders, but because it feels like he's way back on the other side of the map. And so if and
Mhm.
when I'm back on the other side of the map, then I'll look at that.
Mhm.
It's like a little church thing. I wonder if I can go inside. I'm gonna go for about 15 to 20 more minutes and then call it.
Sounds good. Soltron in the chat pointed out that Glitch was really different from a lot of MMOs just because everyone was so nice.
Yeah, people in
There
Glitch
was,
were
and the
really.
mechanisms also really like supported cooperation. Like if you were mining on ore and someone else came and mined from it, you wouldn't get less ore. Like you wouldn't lose out. You would get more.
And that just encourages you to go and hang out with people mining, yeah.
Yeah.
It's.
If you ever want to get really sad, there's a video on YouTube of the last few minutes of
Yeah, I've
Glitch, and
seen it.
then when
It's
it
so
shuts
sad.
off, they play the Grotto Lullaby or whatever it's called, and that was sad.
Do you remember the crow?
I don't think I do.
This wall is fucking huge. Um, the crow, it was the antagonist. It would arrive every so often and try and tear through the fabric of Glitch.
I don't think I ever saw that happen.
Everybody had to get together and like imagine stuff in order to fend the crow off.
Oh, I think I heard about that, but I never like I remember trying really deliberately to get to
Oh,
a thing
I
that
found a
there
green
was
thing.
like a crow attack or whatever trying to get there and I didn't get there in time. It was frustrating.
This is
I
definitely
really
a wall.
liked Sorry, I liked the premise of Glitch that was like these gods were sleeping and specifically like when the game ended, the sort of natural way to explain that was well they're waking up.
Yeah. Did they say particularly much about what they were doing when they woke up? Obviously, we didn't see, that happened, and then the game ended. But like, did we know what the giants' plans were?
I don't think so. I mean, what are your plans when you wake up in the morning?
Lie motionless in bed and read Twitter.
Maybe that's what they did.
You really think that Mab was one of them? Was Potts one of
Yeah.
them?
Yes. I want to say
Um,
Pot was like farming or maybe animals or something. There were a bunch. There were 11 specifically, I think.
a long, long time ago, 11 giants moved around.
Mhm.
It's a picture! Oh my god! Sorry, this game is so cool. Oh man, Janine,
I'm waiting for
I'm
it.
waiting
I'll
for the
get
chat
there.
to. No, sorry, this is so cool. Ah,
Oh. Huh. Well, I guess we know what a beacon is.
do you think that that's a? Oh man, do you think that that's what's causing the glow,
Oh, it's like the base of the beacon?
or the remnants of that thing that's been smashed?
Yeah. And it's just kind of like worn down into the soil now. It's just like a part of that area. There's particles of it.
Yeah, man, it's uncanny to see the game look like this. Huh. Circadian Wolf says, so that's not a church, that's a like legislature building, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. It's a photograph. So that's what this thing's for. It's a photograph album.
I don't know if it's a photograph album, or I guess maybe that's what that icon is.
Yeah.
It seems like a thing that allows you to access. I think maybe the point of the Lux tablet is to account for the fact that not all of the remnants of these kinds of things are going to be on paper. Like sometimes it's going to be data. It's going to be like a file or something like that. It's not going to be a notebook necessarily
Look
if
at
you're
this.
talking about the collapse of a super technological society. Am I looking at it?
Um, I lined the photo up with the video.
Oh, I see. I see that. So yeah, that glow is definitely where that big crystal thing would have been. That's just,
You think it's worth going and poking around that big crystal thing, or should we head on down the road?
I don't know that we're gonna get anything new out of that.
Out of that big old crystal. Yeah. Also, this
We've
is
combed that glow.
glaucomas. Tonight, on 4, glaucomas. The glaucomas weren't expecting much from. Join us.
Is that what Channel 4
Oh, I
does
found
there,
another
Dave?
one.
I would have gone with like TLC or
Tender loving care.
no, TLC when it originally started used to stand for the Learning Channel, but there has not been anything educational on that channel for a very long time.
No beacon. What is the Beacon Project? For the last several years since the discovery of Ceterite, a new, more powerful deep stone has been in production. This game is amazing.
Deep stone, Ceterite, what?
This is
Just
This stone would be erected in obelisk-like beacons in major cities, creating bastions of health for the privileged few who live nearby. Why do we care? We've already seen a terrible growing wealth disparity in the US from similar projects, like schools funded by regional property taxes, which elevate the wealthy while ignoring the impoverished. This is the most egregious instance of this trend to date. If the rumours are true, those living near beacons will be near immortal. But the people who grow our food, who build our computers, those people will flounder. Property costs in cities will skyrocket, making it a playground for the ultra wealthy. And power
there we
will
go.
only consolidate further. What can we do? Write into your representatives, organize on the streets, rally against class injustice, no Olympia Beacon, Socialist America, a Citizen's Progress Guide, and handwritten on it, OK to print, EW. My options here are Beacons and Eleanor, another character.
Hmm.
Um,
That feels like it does address a lot of the questions we had, though.
yeah, that's the other nice thing about this. Like, you'll find one audio diary, and then stuff will sort of suddenly start to. I guess that partly explains why this is also bloody walled off as well.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to work out where the highway is. Oh, there it is. I found it. So if this map is correct, which it might not be, this road should be going kind of south-ish, and it's going. No, that's not right. It's going east.
Do you know where the nearest body of water is?
Maybe we're on this road.
Like, if you walk straight, are you gonna see water?
No.
Mm,
Um, in order to possibly see water, we would need to go. This road is not where I anticipated it being. We would need to go. Uh, I'm trying to north.
do you think these maps are deliberately constructed the way they are, or do you think they, for example, gave someone unconnected with the development and crafting of this world access to it and then said, can you like run around a bit and then make a map of what you see?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that would just be like an impossible task. I don't know.
I mean, if they just had someone in this world, like not with the constraints of hunger and speed and such that you have. If it was like, they
Almost like a
can,
god mode.
yeah. And their task is really just explore this chunk of the world as much as you can. They could wall it off if they wanted to, but like that one map is it
Be
ends
an
pretty quickly.
be an
But
interesting development
just to
technique.
like have their like a sibling or like a friend or someone run through it and then create those maps. Or are those maps crafted with a very deliberate kind of ignorance and deception?
When you
Those words
say
shouldn't
with
sound I don't mean those words to sound accusatory, you know what I mean? But
essentially, you mean are these maps carefully made by the developers in order to deceive, or
yes,
are
to
they
deceive you in
made?
specific ways, or are they made by people who like who the fuck's good at making maps?
Let's get them to draw a map.
No, let's get someone else to draw a map. We don't want a person who's good
Oh,
at drawing maps to draw the maps. Like, because I keep looking at that and thinking, like, if I was drawing this map, I'm sure I would put a lot of things that made sense to me, or like how I experienced or saw the world. But then if I then gave that map to you, would it seem just as broken and wrong?
it probably would. Um,
Yeah,
Screw the road. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find one more green dot and then I'm going to call it.
sounds good.
First, I'm going to stand on this outcropping because that's just how I roll. Well, there's nothing here. Um, but there is a green dot over there.
That's good.
Maybe.
I feel like it's almost more worthwhile to like find a hill and look around with your binoculars for dots and then just move to the next visible dot than to follow the beacons in particular. Like I feel
Yes,
like following the beacons should be a thing you do only when you can't see anything else because they're just gonna zigzag you around.
I'm going to go through the water now to show you how cold works. I get cold. Also, your movement speed in water is slowed really dramatically, and I always worried that I've overdone it and I'm going to die. So on the so on the map, um, we're essentially crossing this peninsula here onto the other side. Um, yeah, those are definitely bones. Animal bones or human bones. I don't know. I'm worried I'm going to have lost the green dot again.
I mean, it's certainly possible.
We'll find it. I like the way the trees have grown up inside these buildings. It's definitely been a very, 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 very long time. That said, if immortals exist within this world, we could absolutely be one of
Hmm. Also, who's to say the trees didn't benefit from that weird crystal thing?
them. We know that they had health benefits. Maybe there were health benefits for trees.
Yeah. Like if you're talking about nutrition deficiencies and stuff that can stunt a tree's growth over the years or like environmental effects, then having some sort of weird health crystal could speed things along.
Deep stone.
Right. something site, whatever it was. Sarah.
Yeah. What are these? Oh, they're just ground polka dots. They're just ground dots.
Somewhere around here, right? I feel like it was beside a bush or something.
I think it's kind of like on this rocky, on this hilly upcropping, just up here. Hmm. Hmm. In any case, if I climb this hill, I'll be able to see it.
Hmm.
Oh man, you can see the glow from here. It's cool that we know what that glow is now.
Yeah.
Green dots here. It's pretty further inland than it looked.
Hmm.
The nice bit is that,
Well, I guess the hills and stuff kind of
yeah, I was going to say the nice
trick
bit
your eye.
is that even now I know my location more accurately
Hmm.
than I did when we started playing. What's this then? Oh, it's an obituary of
Oh, good.
James Moncada
Goody.
III, 55, of Port Angeles, passed away September 21st, 2052. James came from a family with a rich history of power and influence in the Pacific Northwest, and, with the influence and power of his family, James was a positive force in his community and the lives of everyone he met. Immediately following the Great Quake, a 24-year-old James jumped headfirst into the relief and recovery effort. Then, in the months that followed, he established a company to oversee housing and job relief for survivors. And in the years after, James worked extensively to rebuild and relocate the displaced. He is still remembered in the thoughts and prayers of the countless families he's helped. In the decade following the Great Quake, James worked tirelessly to rebuild and expand homes, businesses, and the communities of Port Angeles. His company's energies also expanded to projects such as building the national image of Port Angeles and reaching out to Senon in an attempt to attract them to settle in Port Angeles. After the beacons were installed, the people of Port Angeles began a prolonged migration. Meanwhile, this is weird. Meanwhile, James left to join the brilliant minds gathering in Bellevue. James spent several years in Bellevue, then suddenly dropped off the grid. No one really knows why he left or where exactly he went, but it was clear when he returned to Bellevue a month later that he had spent time outside of the beacons. James came back changed, and not just from the true light withdrawal. He was withdrawing from his colleagues and seemed to be sinking into a depression. James was also stubbornly unwilling to discuss where he had gone, and as it became clear that his true light withdrawal had led to fatal damage to his body, James began to engage in deranged behaviour. He talked about seeing his estranged wife again and moving back to Port Angeles. His condition continued to deteriorate until he finally passed away. The funeral of James Moncada III was attended by thousands who still remember all the good he has done. He will also be remembered as one of the few people who have died while residing in a beacon city. James is survived by his brother and his estranged wife, and true to his character, James divided his estate equally between his brother, wife, and the Radiant Future Foundation. In accordance with his last wishes, James will be laid to rest in his old home in Port Angeles. James's brother has said that he intends to erect a monument over James's grave, which will look over the city. Well, oh, we've lost Janine. Are we still streaming? Hope so. This is a bit of a hog on my system, so at least doing this as well. It generally runs pretty easily. So just trying to add Janine.
I think I'm back.
Hey Janine.
My connection went real weird down at the end of that.
Was it the beacon? Did the beacon shut off?
Yeah.
uh,
So I guess the one thing that left out, the thing that left out to me most is that I guess we'd kind of been thinking that the Senin were maybe like a thing created by the beacons, or like were a class that lived within range of beacons, but this says outright that they were different, or
um,
or maybe that the beacons existed elsewhere and created Senin, so by putting up beacons he wanted to bring them also there.
yeah. I don't know. Let's sleep one more night. Let's see what we've got. Moncada, Earthquake, Senin, and Beacons. Um, I'm gonna put the camera here. Let's go to sleep. Oops. Let's see what we get. The ostent evanescent, the substance of an artist's mood or savant's studies long, or warrior's, martyr's, hero's toils, to fashion his Eidolon.
Do you think those are random or that there's a check for like if you just saw X, then this clip will take priority
Because that seems
or
really
something?
relevant, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Maybe it's connected in some way.
It might be random if you haven't found anything. Like if
Um,
you just went to sleep a bunch.
Circadian Wolf
But
says beacons were already an established thing in the 2050s. Is that the earliest date we've seen yet? Now we've seen stuff in the 2030s. The dates are confusing to me at the moment.
mm-hmm.
So that's Eidolon. I think it's something pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yes, there's a lot going on.
um, I think I probably hope to play a bit more of it in future. I don't know if I'll necessarily like. I I don't know whether or not I'll tie myself down to only playing it on stream, but I'll
I don't
definitely.
think you should. I think you should probably play it on your own, but also every now and then
Yeah,
stream
check
it
in
and
with it.
catch us up on what's been going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it a great deal. It's been really nice hanging out and
Yeah.
playing some of it with you. Um, my name is Jack DeKeat. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Not Quite Real, and on my game studio's website, thetalltreesgames.co.uk. Where can people find you, and also where can they buy artisanal cheeses?
You can find me at Bleating Heart on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube. If you're looking for artisanal goat cheeses, I think at Bleating_Heart is where you want to go for that.
Um, this game is called Eidolon, Eidolon. It's by Ice Water Games. It's their first game. You can buy it on Steam, but they prefer if you buy it via the Humble widget from their site because then they get a nicer cut. You can do this
Mhm.
by going to something like icewatergames.com/purchase, I think. I'm not sure. There's a site called Google that basically lets you find other websites, and I've found that to be useful when I don't know what the websites are. The other thing that I need to mention is that some of us stream friends have gone and launched a darn podcast. We gone and done it. It's called Friends at the Table, and it is an actual play of a tabletop role-playing game called Dungeon World, which is a traditional fantasy setting that is rapidly becoming less and less traditional. It's already got birch forests, mysterious towers with waves emanating outward from the shoreline rather than inward, um, carved, engraved masks, archivist orcs, and survivalist elves. Um, I think it's really worth checking out. I've had a lot of fun doing it so far, and I'm really looking forward to doing it again soon. You can find that at friendsatthetable.net. Um, we have been the Stream Friends. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Bye bye bye.
Bye.